right, folks, how you doing? Happy New Year, happy 2024, all that good stuff. We're here with my 2021 GMC Sierra Duramax. It's a 3-liter, so it's the little guy. We'll call this the 75,000 mile review, even though it's like 73,000 miles. If you followed any of the videos prior to this, I've been going at fairly regular increments, 10,000, 25,000, etc., and just giving my thoughts on the truck. I would say, unlike quite a few people, or maybe just the louder majority of people online, I really love this truck. I really have very little bad to say about it, but I try to be very honest. Now, one thing that you'll get with me is I use this truck. I use it a lot. I use it as a truck. I didn't do a lot of things. I got it as it came from General Motors, so really nothing has changed on this truck other than I do my regular service. So it was always doing, I did the oil changes. There's videos for that. I'm coming up on a fuel filter change, which, and I'll talk about that more. I'll also highlight that in another video. But I'm changing over from the stock fuel filter housing to an aftermarket Duramax site, one with a metal holder. User error on my part. It's just very difficult to keep the wrench on there, and I think I potentially over tightened it at one point, and didn't think I did. But when you're using a half-inch drive socket on there, you sometimes just don't know the amount of leverage you're putting on there, and I guess my snug up was a little too much, and it's starting to round off the plastic housing. So long story short, got a new one. I'll highlight that, but kind of this is my 75,000 mile review, just kind of going over some things on the truck. I guess we could probably start from the front and work our way back, so let's get started. I'm not going to, and yeah, I apologize. It's Christmas this last week. I got a nice pile of stuff. I've been renovating my basement, trying to get some stuff done, so I apologize from the trash in the background here. It's a trailer that's going to the dump there, so like I said, I don't really care about everything. I probably should more, but I don't really care about everything else, like in the background. I'm just trying to give you my honest assessment here. So, where are we at 75,000 miles? Or really, it's 73-ish something thousand miles. So, the front, normal wear and tear on the vehicle. It's held up pretty well. I don't remember if I mentioned much about this before, but this General Motors symbol fell off early on. I would say within, a month or two of having the truck, the M fell off. I mean, it's taken some abuse. It's chipping up, but I mean, what do you expect? I drove in 2 years, like I think it was 60-something thousand miles. So what I ended up doing was actually just putting some RTV to build up the essentially build up the area around the center, like the pegs that slip through, and then let it cure in there. So these guys are not coming off anymore. But I've got the regular scratches and chips and everything in the front. Not the truck's fault, my fault. I got a good deal. I got a good estimate on it for like about $600 to repaint the whole front of the thing. Eventually I'll end up doing it. I just want to get through the winter first, and I'll apologize for the bird crap in advance, but yeah, you can see somebody got me there in the parking lot, scuffed it. I think the one, I would say probably the only exterior, well, other like two things that I really have a problem with. So the other side's worse. I got to get, apparently a lot of guys are having this problem, but it's like bubbling, the clear's coming off of these things. So like this symbol isn't bad, so I may end up just trying to re-clear these myself, or I'll get some aftermarket ones. But if we take it around the other side, we can take a look. This one's a lot worse. You can see like clear's just blistering and coming off. Like, so that's kind of shitty. Like, I don't understand why we can't get workmanship right these days, General Motors, but that is what it is. I got little dents and stuff all over, little chips. I still haven't covered the bed yet. I'm gonna get some bed liner in there soon, because now if you saw the video earlier today, it's my wife's new 2024 Jeep Wrangler. That is not a family car, so I've got some decisions to make with this, and I really do love this truck. And part of me is strongly considering getting a like a Suburban or a Yukon, like a Suburban or a Yukon XL. But I would love to have the 3-liter in it again. And I mean, simply put, I can't afford it. Like, I really can't afford it. I lucked out. Like, we got, just because I guess Jeep's doing so shitty as a company, there was a ridiculous amount of incentives to get this, and my wife has always wanted them. So yeah, we got, I want to say like 15 grand off of it, something like that. And I'll do like a whole review video on that later on, just some impressions and stuff like that. But I mean, we took it out yesterday. You can check that video out here. Took it out in Warren State Forest, did really well, so I'm pretty happy with it. But I think one of the major developments, getting back to the truck here, is, and I'll show some cutaways to this here, you can see, I got hit. Like, actually, I didn't get hit. My wife got hit. The only time she's ever borrowed this vehicle, and this whole side of the bed, and I'll show you some videos, I'll cut to it here to show you, but was all smashed. It was kind of like smashed in a little bit. It was definitely drivable. This wheel got messed up. Got scraped, but it was still drivable. Like, the whole thing was drivable. Luckily, never got the tail light. Okay, so initially it doesn't look like much until you get back in here, and I don't know exactly what ended up happening, but ended up side-swiping the truck, got me right here, and on the other side of the wheel up here. So, from what my wife could tell, the guy wanted to change lanes, didn't realize she was there, turned into her, hit the truck, destabilized her, and scratched up the wheels too, so you can see this guy all scratched up, but hit her and then kept going. So that's Philly for you. But while it's here, it's got to get a whole new bedside, unfortunately, because it's across so many different seams, and a new wheel. Well, the wheel's got to get freshened up. Luckily, there was no permanent damage. And then I had, you know, my the place, one of my local body shops, clean it. They took the whole, or clean it, repainted the whole thing, did all the collision work, took the whole bed off, which was kind of weird. Repainted a lot of stuff on it, did a great job on the body work, but like this piece of trim, for whatever reason, maybe it's how they shipped it, is not flat. But the body is definitely flat. So it's something with this piece of trim. I got to take it back and see if they'll do something about it. It's a nitpick. I haven't done shit about it. I probably should care more, but I don't. Again, not GMC's fault. But really, as far as that goes, and I think I mentioned this earlier, I got keyed when I was in Maryland. When the site was closing, somebody ran their key stem to stern on it. I did have some work done, but you can see it. Like, somebody got me real good, like, along there. I mean, and I'm going to get somebody to do some serious detailing work, see if we can get it. I did a pretty decent job of taking a lot of this out, but somebody essentially ran a key all along the length of the truck and got me here. Hard to get it with this camera because the reflections, but you could kind of see, like, right there's a good part of it. But you can see somebody nailed me. The entire length of the truck, all the way down. The entire length of it. So that's pretty shitty. Like, I didn't appreciate that. I can understand people getting upset about site closure. I had nothing to do with that. Like, I was caught up in the site closure, but I was asked to help lead the closure of my section of the site, and you know, a lot of people lost their jobs. I fought tooth and nail to keep mine and keep my direct. I manage a group, and I fought tooth and nail to keep that group alive, doing everything I can. I guess some people got resentful of that and took it out on my goddamn truck. so weird way to do that to me. Did piss me off. So if that's what you're going after, you know, well done. But overall, just really general wear and tear. If you remember, you know, I was traveling probably 220 miles a day for driving back and forth to work, at least 4 days a week. So mileage was stacking up like crazy. And I was at about, when all was said and done, back at like April of 23, around there, I probably had about 67,000 miles on it. So now, if this is 73,000 miles on it right now, you could see how fast my mileage went down. So I think I drive 7 miles one way maybe now, so maybe 14, 15 miles a day, if that. I also try to drive the SS a bit too. So we'll get in more of that. I'm going to have updates on all the cars, actually. So you're going to finally start to see some more posting here. We'll probably have five posts from me, five videos from me this week, just trying to catch up. But let's get inside. I got to go head to Lowe's to pick up some rock salt. We might actually be having some snow here, so that'll be fun. We'll take both the Jeep and the truck out and do some stupidity here. But let's get inside, and I can give you some additional thoughts about the drivability. Okay, so we're in the cab now. We're riding along very familiar place to where I've been doing these videos before, but I figured give you some updates. I think probably the one thing that I want to definitely let people know about is that if you're going to drive this truck the way that I originally did it back when, I had it for the first 2 years of ownership, where I was going 200 plus miles a day and driving it back and forth to Maryland and, doing 800 to 1,000 miles a week on it, then this is definitely a truck for you if you care about fuel mileage. The truck was easily averaging, probably upperish 20s for most of the drive. I did drive like an idiot quite a few times, where I only got like 24, 25 miles per gallon, but predominantly I was seeing 28, 30 miles per gallon. I mean, if I scroll through this, give me a second here. I don't want to kill myself here. So hit the menu, best OC distance, 400 mile distance. Yeah, so 31.2 miles per gallon, right, for 400. That was the best I ever did within a 400 mile period where it, I was just driving normally, 70, 75 miles an hour driving, going back and forth to Maryland, going 75, somewhere between 70 and 80 to keep up with the flow of traffic. This guy's pulling out. Thank you, moron. Always drive defensively, all right? We got some very dumb people here in New Jersey. So, anyhow, but I've done better than that on, like, the 50-mile economy. I've 34 miles per gallon, a little over 34 miles per gallon. So, and then the 25 is just ridiculous. That doesn't count. I don't usually look at that. But now, okay, so what has changed? So my best fuel economy now, since I went from being 1,000 miles a week to, if I'm lucky, somewhere near 100 miles a week, maybe if I'm lucky. You figure, if I work 4 days, well, I work 5 days a week, 6 days sometimes, and I work the weekends also, but that's just for me. But like, I'm going, we'll say 15 miles a day, right? You can see how that's gonna dramatically change, how the vehicle is used. Now, I'm lucky enough that I feel like the truck warms up enough. I haven't had any of those like weird, I'm not driving them enough problems, where I'm getting weird death issues or anything like that. My usage hasn't changed at all. I haven't really had any, I can't really recall any issues that I've had previously, with the, anything emissions related. I don't even get that weird, the P0302 or whatever the hell it was thing. I got a video on that too that had related to the O2 sensor. I haven't gotten that in since I've been driving back and forth to Maryland. So some guys say it has something to do with the exhaust not being tightened or something like that. I haven't really investigated because it hasn't really pissed me off enough. I have it's in here somewhere. Yeah, I got this, this guy from Harbor Freight, and it was, I think, 20 bucks, and that thing comes on. I plug it in while I'm driving, I click, I reset it, and I go on with my life. I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't impact the way the car drives. The only thing that it does do is stop you from auto starting, which when it's freezing cold pisses me off. So I do like having it. I don't have a lot of amenities on this, but when I got the diesel, and it came with the 10-speed, obviously, it had the towing package. So I had the brake controller, and I get the heated steering wheel and heated seats. Literally everything I want, nothing I don't want. And it's tough for me to even consider getting rid of this truck because of my family situation, right? So now, getting into that, I didn't really get into it too much. I didn't really do a video on it. I can tell you I'm in a lot better place mentally now. I did struggle for the better part of this year. I don't remember whether or not I went into too much detail, but my father had been fighting cancer for the better part of the last 3 years and was kicking its ass all through COVID. But unfortunately, it came back with a vengeance, and he lost his fight early this year, the February timeframe, and it really... It did a number on me, and it's still tough to talk about it. it's very difficult to try to live up to somebody who, you know, is just one of the nicest human beings on the planet. But you know, it took a while. You know, I've been taking good care of my mom. He'd be very happy. But you know, we did our vacations. We just got through Christmas. There was a lot of great stuff about Christmas, and there was a lot that sucked not having them there. So that's kind of where I'm going to end with that, because I can already feel myself slipping. So back to the truck. So anyhow, you know, I'm finally getting back to making videos. My wife was a big, she doesn't know this, but she was a big reason for me getting back into these, just having to start, you know, videoing the Jeep and doing that. It kind of snapped me out of, you know, I don't know what, but it's nice to get back to doing this and talking with you guys. And actually, some of you guys reached out and asked, you know, why they hadn't seen a video in a while. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys checking it out. It's cool to know that people are checking this out and seeing what I think about this. So, kind of wrapping up the gas mileage and all that stuff. So, like right now, around town with my shorter commute, best I've done is about 18.5, 19 miles per gallon. Right, so people say, holy shit, why would I buy that? Well, so I can tell you on the long trips, this thing is absolutely dominant as a vehicle. Even on the around town trips, I don't fill this truck up for at least 3.5 weeks. 3.5 weeks of driving. So I am okay throwing $80 in the tank every 3.5 weeks if I have to for diesel, because diesel's all over the place. I mean, I'm seeing it, you know, $4.19 here and $3.91 here, right? You know, so so for me, it's ridiculous amount of savings, right? I'm not paying tolls anymore. I was putting in probably $600 plus a month, $600 to $700 a month in tolls and gas and stuff like that. I mean, I was probably doing a week, probably 120 a week on fuel, going back and forth. And that's with the diesel, putting in 30 miles per gallon, right? So if I had a gas-powered vehicle, it wouldn't have done that. If well, gas-powered truck, because I know there's going to be sticklers out there that are going to kick my ass. Oh, you get a hybrid thing. You know, like, all right, whatever. For a truck that can pull 10,000 pounds like this truck can do, that's freaking awesome, right? And so for me, it's really tough to try to consider, you know, now that I'm barely filling this thing up every 3.5 weeks, it's tough. And I still make it a point to take relatively long trips on the weekend. Like, this is now the family vehicle, and it will remain the family vehicle. I can fit 5 people in here comfortably. I need to be able to hold 5 because, you know, I've got 2 growing boys. This has a great size back seat. I'm pulling into Lowe's now, so, you know, forgive me here. But it can hold for, like, the trips that I'm going to be taking, going back and forth to the shore. It's like an 1.5 hour ride, something like that, worst case. Or, you know, going out to see my brother, it's 6.5 hours, something like that. That's going to, you know, that's going to be a little tougher. But I think I can get it done. I'm going to put a bed liner in it. I'm going to get a nice bed cover for it so we can put luggage and stuff back there and not get it all jacked up. But it's just too difficult for me to want to get rid of the truck. So, kind of in closing on this, you know, before I have to go in and get what I came here to get, I'm pretty, I would say I'm 90% positive that I'm going to be keeping this truck, and it's going to just continue to be the family hauler, because, you know, as much as I want to get like a GMC Yukon or, you know, a Yukon XL, I'm not going to be able to get a 3-liter easily, and I paid, like, so I paid, I'll just say I paid around $48 for this, as it sat, and I got a smoking deal on it, and there's no way in hell I can get anywhere near that with even the shittiest Yukon you can get, or Suburban. You're still in the upper 50s and 60s. The way I want it appointed, if I'm going to spend the money on like a luxury family hauler, I want to actually get something that is that that is nice, that you want to sit in. So I think what I'm going to have to probably do, as much as this sucks, is if I absolutely need to get like a Suburban or something like that, I'm going to have to rent something, which is fine. I'll spend the money for the week if I have to rent it and take it, because this truck owes me nothing. And, you know, folks have asked me, you know, what do you think? Would you get it? I don't know much about the new diesel truck. And yeah, there's the stupid spring knock and shit like that like really doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all. Not enough for me to bother to fix it at this point, because it really hasn't become a major problem. So I love this truck. I'm going to continue to love this truck. It's really difficult for me to even consider getting rid of it, especially with the prices, what it does for me. So, I mean, you're going to continue to hear me be a very big pro of this vehicle. And will continue to be, even, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm at 73,291 miles. We'll call it the 75-ish thousand mile review. DEF consumption really hasn't gotten any worse. Everything seems to be working quite well. I mean, honestly, it is only a 3-year-old truck, so it should be doing that. Yeah, I stacked some mileage up on it, but I mean, I really do love this truck. I can't say enough good things about it. Yeah, there's some workmanship stuff that's kind of ridiculous, which I will correct. I don't think I'm going to bother putting a lift or anything like that on it. We're going to do some dumb shit with my wife's car. I think her Jeep, because that's like, there is definitely a huge Jeep community out there, because she already has like, I think 18,000 of those little ducks. And I think she's done like 50 different new waves to people. So I expect I'll be spending a ridiculous sum of money on that in the not so distant future. So in closing, that's what I got. I'm not going to drag this out any longer. We'll definitely do some additional videos, especially if we get some more weather coming up here. I'm pretty excited if we get some legit snowfall. I'm going to head into Lowe's, get my bags of rock salt, make sure I'm ready to go. Got to make sure my mom's ready to go. And stay tuned. We're going to do some more videos on the SS. I got some plans for that. Going to ask you guys to chime in on what you think. Kind of going a little bit different direction there. Really excited about what's on tap for the GTO. I'll just tell you, purists are going to hate me. So, but going to hopefully, if all goes well, collaborate with another channel to test out his parts that he's designing. So stay tuned for that. I thank you guys for watching. Take care, and hope you have a great start to 2024. We'll see you soon.